Welcome to chapter one of Reality Reconstruction for the Awakened Entrepreneur. Now, the very first thing that we're going to cover, and I say this because I'm under the assumption that you're a practical person. You have to be. You're a business person. You're self-employed. Because you're a practical person, you like practical information that just doesn't seem airy fairy and nonsensical and kind of woo woo. So part of the reality reconstruction program is tying in quantum mechanics. Now, don't get me wrong, nothing in here is going to be overly complicated, I promise you, because I believe simplicity, like Leonardo da Vinci said, is the ultimate form of sophistication. So we're going to break down some quantum mechanical concepts and how that ties into the core belief systems that we have within reality reconstruction. Anyways, right? One thing that I just want to say before we get started is that being on this journey, reading over 300 books and 7 years on this journey, I've come across a lot of information. A lot of people like to over exaggerate the information. They like to make 6 hour video lectures where they're talking about the exact same thing that can be summarized in 30 and 40 minutes. And I'd like you guys to know that this course is going to be very streamlined. It's going to be very precise. You're probably going to want to write down every single thing that I say, and maybe the things that aren't even on the screen, because as I'm reading this, I'm going to go off into tangents, because I guess that's just how things work, right? And like I said, this course being very streamlined, it might be quick, right? But I'm not aiming for it to be quick. I'm aiming for it to be efficient in its knowledge. I don't want to drag on and, you're listening to me for 2-3 hours and you've got 4 bullet points. So believe when I say this course is optimized. I've been working on this for about 5 months, like literally just redrafting. So with all that being said, enough of that. Let's get straight into it. Chapter 1, Parallel Universe. Now, we've all heard of the concept of past lives. People say, in a past life, I was this, or maybe in a past life, or in a past life. And if you haven't heard of past lives, it's just the concept that us humans reincarnate into multiple lifetimes. And the lifetime that you're in right now is just an example of one potentiality that can happen. Now, we've also heard the idea that time is an illusion. We've all heard time's an illusion. And here's the weird thing. If time is an illusion, then how can there be such a thing as a past life? Exactly. Now, the conclusion that you're going to find out is that the true nature of time isn't linear. It's cyclical. Look at the shape of what time is represented at. A clock. What shape is a clock? It's circle, because it represents the true nature of time is cyclical. We operate in cycles. This is why the world operates in cycles. You operate in cycles. You have your highs and your lows. This is what the Kabbalion and the Hermetic philosophy was talking about. Now, like I said, if time is an illusion, then surely there can't be such a thing as a past life. If the only time that exists is the now, then that would mean there is no past lives. There is only parallel lives. Now, there's a world famous physicist called Sean Carroll, and he has a book. I highly recommend reading it. It is a bit kind of wordy, but other than that, it's good. It's called Something Deeply Hidden: Quantum Worlds and the Emergence of Space-Time. That's what the book is called. And in this book, he's making the argument for the existence of parallel universes, parallel lives. And to put it simply, parallel universe theory is the idea that there's another version of you just living in another universe. That's literally it. It's just another you living in another universe at the same time you're here listening to me. At the same time you're brushing your teeth, there's another you somewhere else. Now, there's a scientific blog called Big Think, and it's spoken on parallel universe theory, and what it says is the number of possible parallel universes tends to infinity, but does so at a particular exponential rate. But the number of possible quantum outcomes for a universe like ours also tends to infinity and does much more quickly. Now, that's a lot of words, right? But to cut it short, all it's saying is that there are an infinite amount of parallel universes. Now, stop for a second and actually think about this. If there is another you in another universe currently living, and the amount of potential parallel universes is infinite, this means that every version, every potential variation of how you could live life exists. There's a homeless you. There's the teacher you. There's the chef you. There's the builder you. there's the clown you, there's the millionaire you, there's the billionaire you, there's the you at 10k per month, 20k per month, 30k per month, 40k per month, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 150, 200, so on and so forth. Every version of how you could live a life exists right now in this exact moment in time, just in a parallel universe. Here's the thing. In the esoteric, there is the idea that you can communicate with yourself in a parallel universe through your consciousness. And what I mean by this is you can interact with the aspect of you that is in another universe. So the millionaire you can communicate with that millionaire you and exchange consciousness with that millionaire you. Now, supposedly, right, and there's a great book called Parallel Universes of Self by Frederick Dodson, and he talks about this too. And essentially what he says is, when you desire something, that is the essence of you in another parallel universe experiencing it. You want it because you already have it, just elsewhere. Now, this should open up a completely different paradigm of how you're currently perceiving your goals. Technically, you already have it, just not in this universe where you currently are. With your consciousness, which is a combination of your beliefs, your thoughts, your identity, attention, and emotional conviction, you can pull the realities of an alternate parallel universe towards you. Crazy, right? So that reality where, you know, of course, we haven't gone into the clarity aspect and what your goal is and what you're targeting. But let's say, for example's sake, you want to make 80k per month. There's an 80k per month version of you that exists in a parallel universe. With your consciousness, which is a combination of your beliefs, your thoughts, identity, attention, and emotional conviction, you can quite literally pull that reality to where you are right now. Think about it like taking different cosmic paths. Now, and I use this example, right, to highlight something. Let's say, you know, you wake up, it's a good day. You wake up, you're feeling good. You do whatever it is you do in the morning and you're feeling great. And this is in universe 4576. You wake up and everything's good. You're like, let me go start my day. You start your day and you wake up from a text and something's gone wrong in your business. Something's gone wrong in what it is you do for a living, and it's a major problem. All of a sudden, because of that problem, you then become frustrated, annoyed, sad, hopeless, despair. And you enter a new range of emotions from you waking up in a good, great mood. And it is with your emotional reaction that you alter your state of consciousness. Now, remember, your state of consciousness is a combination of beliefs, thoughts, identity, attention, and emotional conviction. Each of those 5 levels temporarily are altered. And now, continuing on your day, you're like, oh my God, this is a problem, whatever it is. And you're now in a different emotional state because you've gone an emotional reaction. You're now entering universe 369. Now, for those of you who know 369, that's a little Easter egg. Now, something's gone wrong in your day. Now you're annoyed, you're frustrated, you're upset. Essentially, your state of consciousness has been altered, and now you've entered a universe where, let's say 369 is a universe where it's a bunch of bad things that are going to happen to you. You've now been diverted off the path to good, or this is just for an example to help you conceptualize what I'm saying, and go into a new path. Now, this happens all the time. You might very well wake up and start your day in the consciousness of the reality that you desire. You may wake up and act, you know, from the target that you're trying to go to. But then as your day goes on, things catch you off guard, things upset you. They provoke an emotional reaction and you're altered into a new state of consciousness where you're stuck at a particular level. Now, for those of you who don't know what it is you're looking at right now, you should be ashamed. But for those of you who are decent human beings who have watched Marvel, you will understand the concept of the multiverse. Now, a lot of these Hollywood shows like to put things in plain sight. The idea of the multiverse, that is exactly what quantum physicists are talking about. That's what we're talking about right now in this first lecture, right? And it's the idea that there are multiple versions of you that exist at once. And if you watch the film, you know, Tom Holland, the one in the middle, was able to go into alternate parallel universes and communicate with these people. And this is what you can do with the version of yourself that you aspire to be to. The way that you do this is through your electromagnetic field. Now you have two. You have one in your heart and one in your brain. Now the one produced by the heart is 60 to 100 times larger than the one of the mind. It is more powerful. Your electromagnetic field can be thought of as an energy field. Now, like I said, sometimes, whether it's, your partner, a family member, you can feel when someone's in bad vibes. You can feel when someone's pissed off at you before they've even spoke. You can be in a location and somebody walk in and they're a bit dodgy, and you can feel their energy, right? That's their electromagnetic field interacting with yours. That's your energy fields interacting. Now, it is through your electromagnetic field that, by entering the consciousness of your desired reality, you pull it to you with your electromagnetic field. Now, to break it down, what it is, it's a combination of electrical, and the aspect that is electrical is your thoughts, because in order for you to think, your brain has to send signals through neurotransmitters, which are electrical. And when that electrical signal is sent out, a wave is released. And then the other aspect of the electromagnetic, the magnetic part, comes from the heart with emotion. Now, your electromagnetic field kind of acts like a fishing rod. With your thinking, you cast out the rod to the desired reality that you want. And with your heart, through your emotion, you pull it towards you. And this can happen, good and bad. It can happen, both ways for you. With that being said, that is the first lecture done. Now we're going to actually go on to the actual core of what it is that we're going to be breaking down over these next couple. It depends how long it takes you to do this, but nonetheless, we shall get to reality profiles. I shall see you shortly.